Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Desert Hot Springs regular meeting of the Planning Commission, Tuesday, July 12th, 2022, 6 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Cook?
Present.
Commissioner Grant?
Present.
Commissioner Wagstaff?
Here.
Vice Chair Nindell?
Present.
Chairman Duffel?
Present. Thank you very much. At this time, we'll go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I've asked Commissioner Cook if he would lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Cook. At this time, we're going to move on to approval of the agenda. I was contacted by staff a little bit earlier this afternoon, and we have been asked to postpone item number 2 to a date certain of August 9th, 2022. So at this time, I would like to motion for approval of the agenda with postponing item 2 to a date certain of August 9th, 2022.
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner Cook. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, if I could interrupt just for a minute. It is a public hearing, so just with that, is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak on that item? Seeing none, we'll deem it open and continued.
Thank you, Ms. City Attorney.
With the roll call.
May we have the roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Cook? Aye. Commissioner Grant?
Aye.
Commissioner Wagstaff?
Aye.
Vice Chair Nindell?
Aye.
Chairman Duffel?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 1, Planning Commission regular meeting minutes for June 14th, 2022. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented or corrected?
I move so.
Thank you, Commissioner Cook. We have a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a second. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Cook?
Aye.
Commissioner Grant?
Aye.
Commissioner Wagstaff?
Aye.
Vice Chair Nindell?
Aye.
Chairman Duffel?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll move on to the public comments and open the public comments. Pursuant to the Brown Act, any person may comment on matters of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Planning Commission not listed on the agenda. Under the Brown Act, the Planning Commission should not take any action on or discuss matters raised during public comment portions of the agenda that are not listed on the agenda. Comments are limited to the first 10 speakers at 3 minutes per speaker. Speakers may not yield their time to others without consent of the chair. All comments are to be directed to the Planning Commission and shall be devoid of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain professional, courteous decorum during public comments. Please complete and submit a speaker card, which is in the back, if you'd like to speak. You can submit that to the city clerk and you'll be asked to state your name and city of residence for the record. Are there any public comments at this time for any items not on the agenda?
I believe one gentleman has a card. Sir, would you like to speak?
There's an issue that I'm not familiar with.
Is it, before you go into it, sir, is this an item that is not on the agenda this evening?
It is on the agenda.
It is on the agenda?
It's has to do with massage parlors.
I don't have anything on the agenda this evening for massage parlors, so that would fall under public comments. So if you would like to come up to the podium, sir, and state your name and city of residence for the record, you can turn that blue slip into the city clerk afterwards.
Okay, I'm representing Lou Chan May, and Daniel, you know, I talked to Eric, and apparently there's, she's been trying to get her business license to open up her massage parlor over there next to, in that Vaughn's Shopping Center. And it's all contingent on, apparently what Eric told me, is all contingent on a revised ordinance or revised bylaws, I don't know. So she's been put on hold until this agenda has been resolved in this meeting here. But now I'm being told it's not on the agenda.
Mr. Briselli, would you take the gentleman's information and contact him regarding this after the meeting?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, there's Eric.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Hey, Eric, you know, We talked yesterday.
Yes, and I'll get with you here
Yes,
shortly.
sir. After the meeting, Eric's going to get with you and contact you, and we're going to get to the bottom of this.
So Eric, there's no need for me to be in this meeting then?
No, there is not.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Are there any more public comments this evening?
No, there are not.
Okay, at this time, we'll go ahead and close the public comments. Moving on to item 2, which was item 3, development permit number 21-19, an application to develop 77 new sustainable single-family homes with an accessory dwelling unit within tract number 31762. May I have a staff report, please?
Yes, of course. The project site is located on the southwest corner of Hacienda Avenue and McCarger Road within the residential low density, as shown here. The overall site plan, which include the development of 77 new sustainable single-family homes with an accessory dwelling unit that would complete tract map number 31762. The Mighty Quattro, which is the main dwelling, is designed in a contemporary architecture with slick pattern of facade panels, floor-to-ceiling windows, and the monochrome finish with a distinctive features of a contemporary design. The Mighty Dual 2B, which is shown on the right, is the accessory dwelling unit, is designed in a modern and contemporary architecture with a curved wall to display the 3D printing. The design features floor-to-ceiling windows and wood mimicking facades. The proposed landscape, which includes front yard and the interior streets, will utilize drought-tolerant landscaping with 24-inch box trees, which include palo verde and fern of the desert, small shrubs, and accent plants. A decomposed granite to create variation and to mimic natural desert ground cover features will also be incorporated along with a variation of boulders. Shown here are some street view renderings of the overall project site. On June 15, 2004, the City Council approved tract map number 31762, and in doing so adopted the mitigated negative declaration for the project. Pursuant to Section 15162A of the CEQA regulations, once an M&D has been adopted for the project, no subsequent environmental review needs to be completed unless there are substantial changes in the project that warrant additional review. The Planning Commission only needs to make a finding that the request for the development is consistent with the original M&D and no further analysis is required. With that, it is staff recommendation for approval of development permit number 21-19 to develop 77 new sustainable single-family homes with an accessory dwelling unit within tract map number 31762, subject to the attached conditions of approval and findings. That concludes my report. I'm available if you have any questions, and the applicant is also here. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. At this time, we'll entertain questions of staff from the Planning Commission. Do we have any questions from the Planning Commission for staff? Commissioner Cook.
Yes. I expressed a concern about the interior fencing, and I also requested additional options be presented that were, I feel it would be more applicable to the design of the project. I think that my direct concern is the vinyl fencing. I don't think it would be sustainable out here in the desert. I understand these same projects have been successful in other areas of California, particularly Orange County possibly, and over in LA, but over there the climate's more temperate. And I would like to see that before making a final decision on this project.
Okay, I believe the question in there was, currently, vinyl fences are an approved fencing for Desert Hot Springs. It is a codified approved product, correct?
Yes, it is an allowable material within our code, correct?
Okay, fantastic. So that would prevent us from disallowing that type of fencing within the unit because it is an allowed product within the city limits, and it is codified as such.
That's fine, I understand.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Cook. Do you have any other questions? Okay, Commissioner Wagstaff?
Citizens within the 300, 500-foot have been notified in a timely manner,
Yes. It's actually a 300-foot radius from the subject property.
300 foot.
Correct.
That's from the perimeter of the property?
Yes,
And they have been notified
correct.
in a timely manner?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions for staff from the Planning Commission? Commissioner Nindell, or Vice Chair Nindell?
Just have one question. Actually, we chatted a little bit about it on Monday. The parking, the houses, the driveway is for 2 cars, but if there are accessory dwelling units, and I guess they're optional under this plan, right? Or are they optional, or will every single house have?
No, every single house will have an accessory dwelling unit.
Okay, so then my question is, doesn't that mean 4 or more cars per house? And for a driveway that only holds 2, and people will park on the street?
That is correct. So the main dwelling will have obviously the 2-car carport attached, and then so state law basically cannot mandate the ADU to have additional parking. So they will be parking essentially on the street.
So the roads themselves are conducive to that, or will be conducive to that,
Correct.
the streets?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the answer to those questions are, it is going to be fully developed streets, not half-developed streets? No? Okay.
It would be fully developed streets. correct.
Fully developed streets. And as far as the parking goes, the Planning Commission has no authority to require additional parking for ADUs per state law.
Correct.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Commissioner Grant, do you have any questions for staff?
Yes, I'd like to know when the residents were notified. If you could let us know that, that would be great. And then,
Okay, so it's in the noticing requirement. So within 300-foot radius, the notices were sent out June 30th, and it was advertised in the Desert Star Weekly on June 29th.
okay, so since there are ADUs for all of the housing for this particular project, right? This is the only one that has a homeowners association? Because all the other developments weren't, to my knowledge.
Correct. So this will have its own homeowner association, yes.
Is there a particular process that the city needs to, well, the developer has to go through in order to ask, or is that something that the development that can do on their own? Just asking. Do you need more clarity?
I do. Are you talking specifically about whether or not the developer needs to file something, if there's going to be an HOA, if they have to file something with the Department of Real Estate? Normally they do, but during the public hearing, we could definitely ask the developers to whether or not what they're going to be filing with the Department of Real Estate.
Next question. Would you mind going back to the slides? I can't tell you what number. All I can tell you is the rendering.
Sure, give me 1 second.
Actually, I think it's okay. Go back to, no. Go back to the ones where they're all, like the overview. The next slide after this one. Okay. This is my question, because we've been voting on projects and things like that. Will this project, because this is a rendering, I would like to see things as they are. I feel that we're being brought projects, and when they come in or they're developed, they're not looking to the standard of how I feel that we're voting. So is there any way that we'll know once this is built that this project will look exactly or remotely like this rendering?
I'll kind of step in on that. So with these newer developments that are sustainable materials, we try to go above and beyond, not only to make sure that they are abiding by all the building codes, but in this case, we wanted to make sure that this project actually went through accordingly. So this project itself, there was a temporary use permit that was pulled, and that allowed the applicant to be able to do basically a mock-up of what this house, of what the project would look like, and it would give the city more clarity on what the project, what the product actually physically looked like since it was so new. With that being said, we actually have gone out there, Patricia and myself, have gone out there and physically seen the product, and it is up to the standard that we were initially given the renderings with. So the actual product itself is of higher quality and does equivalent to what this picture is.
I have one last question. Then, thank you, Chair. So back in 2004, when this project was approved originally, and that's been over like a decade now and some years, so is this still okay for us to go through this project without the requirements of CEQA? Because there has been a change. ADU, we just had that. That's something new within the state of California. I know that, people had casitas and things like that, and they still are kind of like an ADU, but does this affect us in any way?
No, it does not.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Grant. Is there any other questions of staff from the commission at this point? Fantastic. At this time, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing and take testimony from the applicant.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Go ahead and pull that microphone down towards your mouth a little bit there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. If you'd please introduce yourself for the record.
Hi, my name is Melissa Wyatt, and I am the lead construction project manager and entitlements manager for this project. So I want to thank you guys all for having me here today to speak. And I want to thank you guys for doing an awesome job on the staff report. I've been working in the city of Desert Hot Springs for over the last year and 2 months, and I have to say that the city is very enjoyable to work with, right? And I am so happy to be bringing this housing development to the city of Desert Hot Springs. I think what we're doing is not only amazing about bringing sustainable products or sustainable housing to Desert Hot Springs, but also bringing jobs to Desert Hot Springs, because we do hire local contractors to help us complete this project. We use local contractors here to do the grading, the drywall, our flooring, our bringing in all of our appliances and stuff like that. We frequent the builder supply store down the street a lot. I'm there a couple of times a day. We also all of our team, we eat at local restaurants here pretty much 2 or 3 times a day. Some of our staff stay at local hotels that's here in the area. And what we're seeing from what we're building, any of you guys are always welcome to actually come to our site. It's very beautiful. And the local residents, as they're coming to our site and they're seeing what we're actually building, they love it. It is really nice. It's really clean. The field has been there for a very long time. And so to actually see the construction and what we're doing, our surrounding area, our community is really enjoying that. And lastly, I just love that we are contributing to knocking out those RHNA numbers that the state of California are, putting on cities to bring more housing to cities. And so, again, we're really excited about building and contributing to the economic development of the city of Desert Hot Springs. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're
Appreciate you being here this evening.
Thank you.
This time, do we have any public testimony for those opposed to this item?
We do not.
Do we have any public testimony for those in favor of this item?
We do not.
Do we have any public testimony for those neutral on this item?
We did receive a letter from the Californians for Home Ownership a little before 3 o'clock this afternoon that I emailed to all the commissioners, and you do have a printed out copy. That's the only thing we received.
Okay, thank you very much. Have all of our commissioners had an opportunity to review that letter? Fantastic, wonderful. Okay, since there is no public testimony, there is no reason to have the applicant come up and rebut, so we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And this time we'll have Planning Commission discussion. Who would like to start? Commissioner Grant. Commissioner Wagstaff.
I know you guys had trouble getting these through Rancho Mirage's building department, correct? No. You have not?
Commissioner Wagstaff, that would have been questions for the applicant. We can reopen the public hearing if you have more questions for the applicant, if nobody else has a problem with it. Does any of the other commissioners have a problem with opening the public hearing? Okay, we'll go ahead and reopen the public hearing if the applicant could come back up to the podium.
I'm sorry.
If the applicant could come back up to the podium for Commissioner Wagstaff's questions, I apologize.
No problem.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
They meet all applicable building codes, correct?
Yes.
Material, all of that's been vetted through the state of California?
Yeah, all of our plans are HCD approved.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay, we have one more question from Vice Chair Nindell.
I'm curious, how is 3D printing, how do you build how does that work? What is it?
Can I bring up my colleague so he
Yeah,
can
sure.
describe it to you?
Yes, please. Please come up and introduce yourself. And
Hello, everyone. My name is Denis Kipchenko. I'm one of architectural designer for Mighty Buildings. I'm with the company since the very beginning. So I'm observing the progress on what's going on and how we are actually answering your question. What we are doing is the ADU, the dual project that has the curve on the side, has the 3D printed this curve portion of it, because that was the only viable option for the company to prove the concept and to show the capability of the tech. And for the single family house, the whole envelope, the texture that you see outside is all 3D printed. So we do, if you heard about structural insulated panels, SIP, that's technically what we do, but we 3D printed. And inside is the PU foam, which is a very high energy efficient insulation that help you to achieve and supersede the energy requirements per Title 24. And supersede it, because like now we need to be zero net energy, ensure that the buildings are not consuming energy throughout the course of the year, and that's all that we can do with this 3D printing tech, and yeah, make the product as efficient as possible. And you are very welcome, as Mel Wyatt already mentioned, to come to the site and see the panels installed, because for the dual project, the ADU, unfortunately you can't see the 3D printed portion because it's inside, it's covered with conventional materials. But for a single family, you can clearly see all the printed layers, and you can clearly see and feel the scale of the panel, because they are like 11 feet tall. They are coming in different sizes, and you see all the 3D printed textures, and it's like really neat.
So it's an actual printer?
It's an actual
How
printer.
big is it? It must be
Oh, it's
monstrous.
It is. It's designed for the full ADU printing. So it's capable of swallowing a 25 feet long by 14 feet wide by 11 feet tall building. So we can print this whole modular at a time, which we did in Oakland. If you ever in the city, you can swing by and see what's happening, because we have the whole sample like 3D printed in it. We do have a video if you have 45 seconds to see how the printing tech works and give you a better sense of what's happening, because there is not only printing involved. As I mentioned, we have PU foam injection, we have milling and preparation of the panels before they go inside. But it's all the beauty of the tech, because that's how we're ensuring that we are not overprinting as we have in conventional construction when you buy, I don't know, a drywall and you cut it and you have all of the scrap that you have to dispose of. Here you just design the part and you print it, and it comes to the size that you need, so it's ready to go, and like there is no leftovers. And even if we have leftovers, there is a tech that we are utilizing. We are repurposing the dust that we are creating, and we are adding it to the component of the next component. So we recycle basically the garbage that we are producing.
So can we
Interesting.
show you the video?
Can we
to-
see the video?
Is
that
it possible to view the video now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Dan-
that's
why don't we do this? Let's go ahead and leave the public hearing open for a moment. Let's take a 6-minute recess to 6:30. That'll allow time staff to upload that, and we'll come back at 6:30 and review the video and continue.
It's-
Oh, you have it now? Oh, fantastic. So no need to adjourn. Let's go ahead and see the video. I'd like to see that as well. Yes, go ahead, Ms. Grant.
So if I'm happy that you are using HDD standards because that was a concern for mine. But now what it sounds like to me is like this 3D printing process is like modular homes that have like the prefabs where you guys, and you basically are, it's a more sustainable option that you guys are using to like reduce waste and so it's sustainable longevity working out. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I'm asking both of you, either one.
so for the modular for ADUs, it's a we do have the insignias for each building under HCD, which means that the
Right.
buildings are inspected at the warehouse in Oakland, and then we ship them.
Okay.
And then on site, we only need the city to inspect the connection because everything else is inspected at the by the state before it left. But for
Okay.
the single-family house, as we build on site, we only get an insignias for the components. So it's the same HCD, but it's only insignia per component. So we have inspected all the panels.
Okay.
We have inspected the roof because it's coming in the roof cassettes, and we inspect the bathroom parts. It's like basically the MEP core of the building, which is coming from us as from manufacturer. It's tested at the warehouse. It has its own insignia, which was inspected by the
Right.
state inspector, and the rest, like all the connections and everything, is happening. Like the inspection is happening on site by the city.
Okay.
Any other questions before we move on to the video?
No.
Videos.
I'll segue off what DG said. It's 118 here in the summertime. Have you guys done any testing on as far as its longevity in this type of heat
Yeah.
or climate?
Yeah, absolutely, we did. We are passing all the inspections with the UL underwriting laboratories, and we work with ICC and TA because that was actually the requirement from the state and just to the state and the country to prove that we can use our material, that it's like safe and sound, that it will last. So what we do, we send the samples to the laboratories where they expedite the 75 and 100 years lifetime in a few years. So we see how the material behaved during this period, and that's how we tested for basically all the impacts, including heat. So yes, we did test it for the heat.
And then you said on the ADU, we can't see the 3D printing because you use a conventional material on the outside. What conventional material is that? Just
It's just the plywood on the curve side, and then now we use stucco because that's just a more convenient way for us. And we did it because when we launched this process, we got the approval with the UL for the assembly, not only for the 3D portion itself, as we do have now for Quattro. So basically, we did get approved, not just the curved piece of the building, we got it approved with all the layers of the plywood and stucco on the top, and that's how we got it approved, and that's how we keep building it these days.
okay.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and take a look at that video. You guys can go ahead and sit down if you'd like. Thank you.
Welcome to Mighty Buildings.
Thank you for that. We'll go ahead and move on to Planning Commission discussion. Is there any further discussion on this item? Commissioner Grant?
What I think for me is just, I'm looking at the fact that I know that we only have a little bit of, we have no discretion, I guess, or autonomy over the real estate with homeowners. That's always a concern for me, just because of how I feel about them and affordable homes and things like that. However, with the shorting of housing, I do like that. I like the idea that they are using more sustainable methods. You know, to me, it looks like a modular. I've seen, my brother's an engineer, city engineer, so I do see people, and I am from the Bay Area. So I have seen homes built like this. My concern is what I think Commissioner Cook and Wagstaff brought up is our temperature. You know, that's where, you know, how will we know? 100 years is not a long time, in my opinion, you know. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Commissioner Grant, and I do respect your opinion. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Traditionally, in construction, in all construction and development, any structures are typically only built to withstand 75 to 100 years, regardless of whether they're stick-built, prefab, 3D printed. We're not a society that creates things to last forever. We're ever changing, and for that reason, we don't build things to last forever. I took a drive up yesterday to take a look at this project. I do have some concerns about it, but my concerns are not big ones, and they're not concerns that that I am allowed to make a decision based off of. Some of our hands are tied in certain areas in regards to certain things, especially with the housing crisis, and meeting our RENA numbers is a very, very high priority. Though there are some minor issues that I saw with the development as a whole, I think the development is absolutely a great product, and I think it's going to be sustainable and make many families very happy for many years to come. Is there any other discussion on this item? If there's none, I would like to entertain a motion.
I move we accept.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve recommendation for approval of development permit number 21-19 to develop 77 new sustainable single-family homes with an accessory dwelling unit within tract number 31762. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second from Vice Chair Nindell. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Cook,
Aye.
Commissioner Grant,
Would you mind coming back to me? So after I vote, thank you.
Commissioner Wagstaff,
Aye.
Vice Chair Nindell,
Aye.
Chairman Duffel,
Aye.
Commissioner Grant.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. At this time, we will reopen the public comments and give those an opportunity of the public who have not addressed the Planning Commission on any item which is not on the agenda. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and you'll be asked to please state your name and city of residence for the record. Do we have any public comments?
We have no public comments.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Chair and Planning Commission reports. Do we have any reports from the Planning Commission this evening? Okay, fantastic. I have nothing to give this evening. May I have a Community Development Director report, please?
Yes, you may. Good evening, Chair. Good evening, Chair and Council. Commissioner. Sorry, late day. So I do have a small update for you. I want to let you guys know a little bit of what's going on with our ADU, with our pre-designed ADUs. I know it's been kind of a hot topic. We've had a lot of positive interest from the community, so I do want to just kind of touch base on where we're at so you guys aren't left in the dark on this project. So on May 18th, we had an informational workshop where we showcased the new preliminary ADU plans. We spread this around throughout the community. We posted it all over Desert Hot Springs. We ended up getting a full house. So we ended up answering a lot of really good questions that were revolving around not just the ADUs, but just general development questions that the community had. We found this to be super productive. It was just great to see how the interactions between the community and the staff. So we had both planning and building there to answer questions. The audience ranged from local developers to local homeowners looking to take advantage of this program. A lot of them are ready to move forward on their project. They're just waiting for the plans to be completed. The architects as well drove down. They answered a lot of great questions that came from the community in regards to the actual construction of the ADUs. And here are the kind of final renderings of them. The actual building plans themselves are in plan check, but here are some of the renderings. This is one of them. They do range anywhere from roughly 300 square feet to up to, I believe, a little over 1,000 square feet. Here is the Spanish style. All of them come with an optional attached garage. So in case it doesn't work for that area, and the other side to that is a lot of these, the majority of them, you can put it on either side of the home in case it doesn't work one way or the other. Here's the Pueblo style and the Mediterranean style. Here's kind of a general layout of a little bit of the plans. On the right-hand side, you can see the different cores ranging from 384 and then all the way down. Oh, I guess it is 988, plus the attached garage. And currently, they are in plan review, and that is the end of my report for you.
Thank you very much, Eric. Well, at this time, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Commission.